What is up? Workbringer here, and today I'm bringing you the other side plus 12, my highest key for this yet, and it's Tyrannical and Necrotic, so it's like, it's a toughie. This place is a toughie. I'd actually wiped a 12 beforehand to a lovely group. However, this group is even more lovely, and I'll explain that to you. This is one of those looking for group listings that said looking for a push tank. So everyone here is like 1,000 IO, and this dungeon puts me over 900. So I give these two the business, run right downstairs, mark the inspiring one, and get to work. Let's see how much damage is going to come out. To me, don't want to step in the swirly whirly. Losing massive threat, so I'm going to pop the Divine Shield Bomb, and Treants comes out. So a bit of an overlap there, but essentially we time warped, we lost it, and the Druid popped off, so I was just losing threat the whole time. And we have a Demon Hunter, which I am always losing threat to Demon Hunters. They just got the big burst, which is excellent. So we burst those all down. I actually had been practicing that double pull at lower keys because people were asking me to. And so I do it just like the beginning of, let's say, Halls of Atonement. So it's Shieldy into the it's Avenger's Shield into Shield of the Righteous, and I forget what's going on here. Oh, I'm waiting for the patrol. Okay, so it's Necrotic, and I know the Demon Hunter's like meta wore off, and he was joking, but actually not joking, that we didn't get like this extra uptime on it, and I'm like, yeah, but I have to kite this thing like crazy, and I don't know where like Lotus is gonna be. You know what I mean? Like doing all of I don't know where Erupting Darkness is gonna be. I don't know where I'm gonna need to kite to, and I don't want Big Red there freaking me out. You body pull Big Red, it's over, right? Not good. So we have Treants. Thank goodness. Thank you, Balanced Druid, who brings Treants and understands tank life on Necrotic especially. My Necrotic stacks are getting a little bit dumb. I should clear. And it looks like they dropped on their own. Or did I use a Kyrian Vial? Either way, they're gone. Thank you, Treants. Helped quite a bit with that. Now it's cleanup time, and we want to be able to just silence the Death Embrace, which I didn't. This is a bit of a break, though, here. Just don't stand in the purpley purple. And we get to silence, and yeah. Nice and clean, thank you so much. We're moving on to Big Red. Now, Big Red has patrolled downstairs. We didn't kill it fast enough. So a bit of an unlucky pattern. So I just typed to them. I was like, do you want to wait or do you want to try to pull him up? And the Druid goes to get him for me. And I'm like, I'll just sit here. Tags him. It's the healer. So the healer knows what's up. The healer understands how this is going to work out. I think it was the healer. It was one of the Druids. They're tricksy and fast, right? So where a couple of rages go off, but the pot's about to pop. And boom goes the dynamite. Elysian Decree does not land on the, maybe that was to clean up the Ragers, I don't know. But this Demon Hunter is commenting on the min-maxingness of this run, and I am not like a min-max at this point. I am not optimally doing this run yet. However, I know generally how to do it. So at a 12, I feel pretty confident. However, for like a 14, I'm like, I don't know if I'm there yet. And it's really not a gear level thing. Like if I jumped up to 220 all of a sudden, it's not going to make a huge difference. As I got a little bit more stamina, a little bit more haste. I mean, I really thank you for the Treants, by the way. Lovely. Droppeth the stacks. I actually don't have anything except for Bop. I'm just running circles. Probably going to DPS a little bit, but I just thought that was funny. Pick up the Kyrian Spears. Here comes Pride. I don't really like taking Pride here, but it works out fine. I usually try to take it on the stairs, but it's a little bit random where exactly that's going to be. I do like to tank. This is where Pride always is here. This place is very repeatable, except you'll see in Ardenweald, someone assumes I'm going to pull the Spriggans, and then they pull the Spriggans, and I'm like, I don't like pulling the Spriggans. But actually, watching them do this, watching them pre-pull, like do the pop, basically, you'll see. It's fine count. And for Fortified, when the birds hurt even more, because like this is like joke trash week. Yeah, when the birds hurt even more, I should probably do that. Okay, so the Demon Hunter, I shielded like the far away one, and they assumed I was going to do the front one, so lost aggro for a second, and the trees come out. Right as they enrage, Plus, they're probably going to get soothed by our double druid team. They don't even soothe them because they're just hitting trees, no big deal. And lots of CC here. So this is like, you know, I didn't look them up exactly, but this is like more or less what I think of like 1k IO groups, right? It's your gear, like at this point, like your gear being 210 to 220 is a given. You know DPS, and like the 1k difference for IO, not that I'm there yet, is that you understand the affix and what your utility has to handle the affix. And this affix this week is that the tank, if it's getting hit too long, only has so many ways to drop the necrotic stacks. And so if it's spiteful, right, you're going to look at your utility and be like, okay, cool, let's use mass entangling roots, etc., etc., to handle the affix. So I really consider like that extra jump is utility for the affix, plus knowledge of route, plus obviously just like regular old DPS. So we do not get the Son of Hakkar down, and I've learned this lesson. It just randomly fixates. We are going to, I skull the Hakkar. I'm like, that's pulsing damage. I don't know if everyone knows because some, you know, most of the times these don't spawn. They're like little prads. They hurt a lot. And I pull them into the back room and let the blood circle be back there so we can progress forward, right? Versus it being in the middle room, it's a bad place for it to be. So we've stabilized this, and we picked up the, I'm losing aggro. Oh, trees, that's fine, right? Drop stacks, whatnot. We've actually double pulled technically with this Hexer, and that's pretty common. But you're supposed to let the, I don't know what the druid's doing. You're supposed to let the, you're supposed to kill those little praying dudes first. Anyway, moving on here. Do I mark the priest? I do. It's pretty obvious. This group obviously knows how to handle this pack here. We want to start burning down the priest so that when these do whirly-whirlies, we can stun them or whatever. It doesn't really matter. It's just slow, right? And we're trying to time, obviously. And yeah, pull these into the back room as well is my strat, because they're going to spawn shades essentially where we just want to run away from them. They basically spawn little spites, right? So we have lots of range DPS, and I'm just trying to slowly pull them back here, and then I'll like horse forward. And when I do this, a lot of the times the disc priest will be like in the back, and they'll like life grip me forward, which is like a tiny bit of time save. But yeah, leave the spites in the back, run away. So I don't have time to like uber mark everyone, but I think everyone understands you got to kill the devoteds first, right? I Hodge one, and there's another AoE stun from the Demon Hunter, and we're giving it the kill. And the Demon Hunter said that he'd rather use the pot on the next pull when you LOS it. However, I do think that was the right... no one said anything, right? We would have been open to that, obviously, like who cares? But that being said, the Son of Hakkars, I'm not sure that we had killed them confidently. I think some of them might have spawned, and I think that's a bigger slowdown. Having the Son of Hakkar pop out and then it dies and leaves a huge red pool on the ground. I think that's a bigger slowdown, and not necessarily wipe, but it's just like a lot of AoE damage, right? So during that pull, I put the little LOS sign here. I'm like, everybody LOS, and then I lose aggro instantly to the healer. I don't know what happened. I think what happened there is that they have hots on me. And so what happens is because I didn't attack them immediately, they got healer aggro, which is healing aggro, which is a thing. Like the healing on me became the highest threat, and I was trying to get them to be like actually perfectly put together so that everyone can drop their AoEs on them. So that's something to consider with that pull with a hot class, especially. I think probably every class has some sort of hots except for Holy Paladins. But it gives me pause when I'm doing that LOS with a druid that they got healer aggro. It almost died, to be honest. They aggroed the entire pack. And I think, I don't know how I feel about that LOS pull. That LOS pull is really for when you do the pot. I'm kind of thinking in the future, if we blow the pot early, I'm just not even going to do that LOS pull. Or if I do, I'm going to jump out earlier, because that healer almost dying is pretty bad. And healer getting aggro, even though we were doing an LOS, is my job. So it felt kind of bad to have that happen. So I learn a little bit every time on this run, and for some reason I just feel like pushing to other side. Oh, I know why. It's because it has my Bis Trinket and Bis Belt, and I don't have either. Rip. I do get a drop from this, but it's nothing I need, so sadness. So we're going to keep pushing to other side. Next week, I'm pretty sure I'm going to do a 13. If you can do Tyrannical 12, you could definitely do 13, because the bosses are like a million times easier. look how hard Hakkar is. And this group knows what is up. I do give, like, this group does not need my opinion on the tough parts of the dungeon, but I do reiterate that you have to kill the ads. It's whack-a-mole. The longer those little serpents, the son of Hakkars, are alive, the more bad this fight gets. And so this really, I think this takes like the group's whole utility. And I'm going to comment, this is my first time watching it back, how well I do. So first one's easy. I mark that son of Hakkar. It dies. That's a red pool. I should have pre-moved, but I was kind of wondering if I can stay there. I get the red circle, so I need to kind of like just chill out here. And I'm trying to just give room to the Demon Hunter. He also has the circle, so this is a good preview for Quaking, which I think is what next week is going to be. And yeah, so that's kind of stabilized. However, there's another son of Hakkar, and we time warp. So we only got time warp back because we time warped the first. We lusted the first trash pack. I think that's more for fortified. I think that's for a fortified week because, though honestly, it's kind of cool to get time warp here because we get like a little bit of extra boost for killing the ads. So there's something to be said about that. But I think lusting the first pack is when it's fortified and like the trash just takes you a little bit longer, right? Maybe that 15 seconds longer that would have given us time warp and lust at the, I'm sorry, pride and lust at the beginning here. So hard to say. And it's per comp. And what I'm really looking for a group eventually long term, like once I 15 everything, I feel like you're like a push tank or whatever. But like once you 15 everything and you're 1200 IO, which there's already groups on the, on the raid finder, pre-made finder where they're looking for 1200 plus only, right? Looking to do 15s consistently, 14s for the week, and or push into 16, 17, 18. Happens. It's out there. So, but you know, having a group where your comp is consistent and you sort of know the timings of when everyone's cooldowns are going to be back, that's pretty helpful. But this is a pug, so I have no idea their timings. I'm like, oh, you know, like on the 11 we didn't have them back in time, so we're not, you know, so like I just have no idea when their cooldowns are going to be. I only generally know. But we get it down, and the name of the game is to priority target the Sons of Hakkar, instantly switch targets to do that. And luckily the I don't know what's going on here. Oh, I have the circle, and I'm just trying not to give it to anybody else. Yeah, there's two, me and the Demon Hunter both have it, so we're just trying to like, mine fades off, and yeah, we're just trying not to give it to anybody else. But luckily the Demon Hunter, and it looks like the Mage and Balanced Druid, I mean, that's a pretty good comp. I like it. No stealthing, unfortunately. I mean, we have two stealthies, but, you know, no skips. But essentially, if me and the DH had Invisipots, we could do some skipping, right? Because the Druids just natively have stealth, which is nice. So it's a good comp. And having Treants, even the DH can do like kind of a stun, and the Mage can do a Frost Nova for rooting. Really, two Druids is more than you can ask for on Necrotic Week because they can just instantly just take aggro mid-pull. So we don't have to slow down. I don't even have to kite. Like, you don't see me kiting on this pull, on this run, which you do on my other ones, my other Necrotic pulls, because there's no trees. The trees just take the aggro, and my stacks drop, and we just have full utility the entire time. So that's very nice. Now, the name of this video is something about Soulcrusher, which until watching this back, I didn't really understand the last boss. What is Soulcrusher? Like, what is that? And I've actually heard healers, like the best healer in my guild, they were complaining about tanks not doing Soulcrusher right. And I was like, I'm like, Loki, like, I don't even know how you really do that either. So the trees are out. I'm not sure why the trees are out at the moment, but why not? But I'll explain Soulcrusher to my understanding, and I'll show you how you don't Soulcrusher, and it costs us the +2 on this run. And so this run's pretty perfect by me. It's not optimal, which is like the correct double pulls and all of that. The DH is asking me here, I don't notice it, to pull bigger. And for sure we could have, right? You could pull the Bomby Boys in the back, they'll just explode on their own, and you could even pull the pack on the other side, and they'll probably just explode on their own. We've got lots of utility. They could have gone and gotten it if they wanted to and pulled it in, but I decided not to, just because of this thing that happens here, right? That circle. So if I'm in there pulling stuff and like I get the circle and I'm gonna get stunned, I might get stunned like like kind of like what just happened there. I could have gotten stunned too, but the DH kind of zipped out. I kind of barely. I don't want to get stunned while these things are exploding because I'll die. That's what it is. So there's the double pull anyway. Like this is nothing, right? But when the dog is out, he stuns people, and I don't want to get stunned and die. So that's what it is. So we have 2 battle reses. So I wouldn't put it past it that someone else is engineer here because I don't push the button to turn off the slimes. They probably all have battle reses is what my feeling is. And I have engineering so I can have the battle res. I just don't have the item. I've actually never done it either. So I should probably get myself some battle reses. And this is a very tight quarters place, so you're in melee anyway, because you have to be, I think you have to be kind of close to in melee to use the battle res. I should start to get into that for these high IO runs here. That's kind of a sketchy place. You see the mage was like, yeah, I don't trust that LOS. And it was a bad place for LOS. Like, I love what I was doing. You got to stick him in the corner, right? So inconsistencies here a little bit as the tank. But I will say we got us through us. However, I make one pretty crucial mistake at the end, which only really rears its head so far at an 11, is that I don't fundamentally, in this run, I don't fundamentally understand Soulcrusher, so I do it wrong, and so I make a mistake, and I'll show it to you. So they want to pull big, let's pull big. So I pull both lubricators, so this is, okay, we bait that to happen. And so this is a manage your kicks thing, which is tough without voice comms, where I'm like, I got the X, I got next X, you know, DH, you have next skull, and there's 3 kicks that happen all at once. So sometimes it'll be like lubricate, self-cleaning, and self-cleaning is really the one you want to get, because like the damage here, this True is doing big heals. Lubricates aren't killing us too hard, but it's the healing that just takes time. Just time. We get it down, and yeah. So I double pulled that. So that's what I mean by optimal. Like, okay, that's already been used, great. Optimal for me means that you assess the group's ability to heal, to CC, and you properly double pull. And you properly bring together like as many adds as possible, essentially, so that you can live through it, so it's faster. So it's a judgment on how much I can live. It's a judgment on how much they can burn it down. I am not tracking cooldowns yet mid-run, but you know it's fairly easy to get a weak aura or Omni CC or whatever to track. I'm like, oh, is combustion up or trees up? Like I can look at that and be like, well, combustion's up, let's triple pull, like something like that, or double pull at least, right? But I'm still not doing it like that, even at 12s. Again, if it was a consistent group where I'm like, I walk into a group like this and I'm like, okay, mage, time warp, lovely. We're going to have a battle res. We're going to have possibly treants. Not everyone has treants that are balanced. I just ran a mists 12, no treants, fine. And no rogue is what I look at mostly here. But we have lust and battle res, and that's what you're mostly looking for in a comp. Those are like the big things that are happening. So something to min-max about this place is that we're going to always get pride here. And what you want to do is, of course, you know, tank him. This room's so small, it kind of doesn't matter. But what you want to do is, right as pride is dying, you want to put your camera and watch the oil pattern. Because it's the difference of, I'd say, about 5 or 6 seconds of uptime on the pride buff, right? So if you can, as quickly as possible, make it across this little balcony, it saves a bit of time. So it's a min-max, right? So I'm looking at the splooge. That one's safe. We can just run right across. The next one, not as safe. I almost run into it. A little over-eager. And I don't know what happened here to the druid, because I run in there. I feel like I min-maxed it, right? And I'm like, boo, there's no healer. I don't know if they died. I don't know what's happening, but I see them running back. And yeah, it feels bad to only have... But they're back, okay? But I don't... If they're completely gone, I mean, it's a wipe. This is a very high damage fight. Very, very high damage. Now, on lower keys than 12, and it's tyrannical, right? So basically, I would assume that, like, a 13 fortified is kind of like a 10 tyrannical, right? So well, if I do a 13 of this next week, I don't anticipate... The damage won't be this high. I don't think. But tyrannical 12 is no joke. I will soak the laser... But at a certain point now, someone needs to kind of take over, right? And so they kind of have to manage that. There's a lay on hands for myself. I'm soaking another laser. However, it's up to someone else to jump in for me. I will not move. I will almost die rather than let him have the power up. But they're doing the shocking correctly. People are taking damage, but here we go. Immediately going to taunt because we're going to lose aggro on her. That happens a lot. If that buzzsaw someone else, they're dead. And I'm just trying to sit in Consecration and keep Shield the Righteous up, even if I have to pool Holy Power, which is what you... Oh, okay, oof, didn't have it for that last tick there. Don't have a lot of cooldowns left. There's Shadow Fury about to go down. Perfect. I'm kind of dying, but a bunch of Word of Glories. Like, my heals, I've talented into Hand of the Protector and conduited for essentially Word of Glory to give me a shield. And man, do I need it on this fight and the last fight. But the last fight is because I don't understand Soulcrusher, which is kind of the whole point of this video, is for me to hammer it home for myself. And for anyone else who's doing high keys of the other side, if you're a tank and you don't understand Soulcrusher, you're going to die like I die. Essentially. Now, I don't actually die, but you'll see. I'll show you what happens. Of course, it's just not optimal, right? We're going for optimization. Now, actually wiping into other side is game over, right? You might have seen my other run that at 11, we actually saved it. You're not saving it at the 12. You're not gonna. You need pride. And as it gets higher and higher, if you wipe ever on these except for like maybe mists or halls, you're not timing it. And this place especially. So Buzzsaw, again, just trying to keep up full mitigation, keep the Consecration, keep the shield. Honestly, pool Holy Power, and then heal. Like here, I'm going to choose to heal, I think. Which it's a back and forth, but it worked out, right? So between me and the healer, which is... The healer was doing big DPS there. I think I saw like 6k HPS. That was a lot. But they know. Like, that's the pumper. Like, burn all the cooldowns. Tank takes big damage and just sits there. There's no kiting. There's no tactics. It's just like, do the mitigation correctly. And kind of like raid tanking. That's like a raid tank, right? I'm like, I don't go anywhere, but we have to manage. It's like, do I have Iron Bark? You got Iron Bark. Cool. We're going to make it through this one. Now, I'm still sitting on Divine Shield, so I never had to Divine Shield. That's kind of like when I have absolutely nothing left, and I feel like the healer doesn't either. Then I'll Divine Shield and I start off-healing other people. We didn't make it to that phase because DPS was enough, and people did the mechanics correctly. Like stunning it when it needed to be stunned, soaking lasers, and healer and me were managing cooldowns, I think, properly, even though not being on voice comms. These masks, I don't really know what you're supposed to do to these. I guess they can just die. I didn't realize that. I didn't realize you could kill them. I don't know what's happening on this fight still. I just kill it. That's it. And when there's the pot, we use the pot. That's all I understand about that. So I'm not sure I know how to min-max that little situation here. If you're up for it, you can double pull this. I don't know about that. Yeah, sure. That'll probably save you like... Okay, so how long does it take to kill this pack? It's a while. It's a while, but that pack is there for you to be gutsy and double pull. I don't want to double pull it on necrotic. Spiteful? Sure. Let them deal with it. But here, I'm good. Plus it's inspiring, so like, yeah, that's a big no for me. We try to pull these back. If you pull the inspiring away, you can actually silence the death speaker, which is great. Someone silenced it. I think it was the mage, so super GG. We're pumping deeps into the... Is it already dead? I think maybe the inspiring... Oh no, the inspiring is still dead. I'm looking at that cultist. It's still got the skull. Try not to get hit by the frontal. And trees are out. So great, right? Trees make this so trivial. Because usually I'd be phase tanking at the moment. I mean, I may be kiting away from like... I mean, these are all casters. What are we kiting from? I just still keep constant movement so I don't get eaten by the Lotus. And we just try to silence the death speaker. But Treant's very helpful. Very, very helpful. So I now have the Ardenweald part pretty memorized. And I have it memorized enough that if people body pull, it's still recoverable. So that's what happens here. Spoiler alert, is they kind of, they anticipate I'm going to go to the pot, which is good that we did. We do go to it. They forced me to go to it, essentially. But I actually don't necessarily go to the pot. I'm waiting. I'm not as fast as they are. And I think I have a little bit of a speed boost from when you turn into a bear and you can run. I forget what it's called. So I made it through there. So that's good. I'm not as slow as I normally am here. So they're all waiting. Where's the tank? Where's the tank? And so this group has already asked me to pull bigger, and I'm like, no, no, thank you. You could, if you wanted to, quad pull, which we have the DPS, but I just don't want to. You can bring in the other pack of that inspiring pack down there. I'm just not gonna. It wasn't there when I got there. So we're just going to confidently kill this down. I'm going to drop stacks, and then we'll go again. And I'll try to double up before. So I'm only at 6 stacks, so I'm not too worried. I have a Kyrian Vial, I have Bop, and I have Divine Shield. So I'm going to try to make up a little time here, but not Omega time, right? This pack will not spawn Pride. So we're at a very high stack count. Oh, it dropped. Oh, I Kyrian Vial. Okay, so that was a Kyrian Vial drop. There's Dark. I should probably be sitting in Dark a little bit more. However, what kills me is the stacks, really. Losing a little bit of threat on one of those Spriggies. I'm sitting in the Silence Pool. The stacks are getting kind of big, and I start to run away. I think people understand. Right there goes the Frost Nova into probably a stun. And let's just let me drop stacks without having to do anything drastic, right? Okay, so with those down, I want the next pack. This pack gives us Pride. Okay, so this is me managing necrotic. I'm assuming the healer is watching my necrotic stacks. I don't know if anyone else is. Maybe the Balance Druid might be. Maybe, because they pull Treants out at the right times, I think. But even this Pride pack, I want to keep aggro, so I give him the A shield, but I want to drop it. And there goes Treants, which is great. I do want to drop my stacks before Pride spawns, just so we're not sweating it. And so I'm not 30 stacks and unhealable when Pride comes out. That's just not fun, right? So could we have been more adventurous? Oh yeah, for sure. Maybe next week's Fortified, but like, when I'm not dying to necrotic stacks and it's just damage, you could do all of that at once. Like, legit, do that all at once. And if everyone had their cooldowns, yeah, you burn it all down. But on necrotic, that many mobs, basically, like, if you face tank that, like, the whole... If I face tank the entire pull as one, that's like... I'm pretty sure that's 2 ticks, and I'm at 30 stacks. So it's like, like, that's just, like, stressful. I don't know. So we have this. They don't want to waste it. I marked the one we're going to go kill is that patrol and a little sketch. However, we're waiting. I'm body pulling. Don't touch anything. Don't touch it. We don't want to pull the matriarch is what's going on. So I'm body pulling, and I know everyone wants to gather him up and kill him, but I need a certain amount, and I miss one because they body pulled this. So I have to burn Divine Shield to get aggro. I understand that it wasn't the fastest roundup in the world. So they pulled this invisible pack that's right here. And clearly they wanted to use the pot. And this is actually count right here. However, we're missing one bird. We're over by a pack of Spriggans, which means you don't have to kill the ones at the end. But it's not the route I had planned, so I'm a little bit questioning. These stacks are getting high, but these are just dying. And so I turn around, and I normally kill that bird, and I'm real close to pulling it. And I'm like, okay, never mind. I'm just like pretty sure we're okay. So we're going to get into this matriarch pull. So this is the same place that I had to use Bop last time to clear stacks. And I'm going to use Bop again. I don't know if we have Treants. My stacks are getting up there. And again, someone pulls the extra pack. This is like identical to what happened last time. Someone's going to pull this extra pack in, which makes necrotic even worse. Bop gets dropped. We do Bop and drop. Right, that's my cancel or a macro. So now Treants are out. So I didn't even need to use Bop there, to be honest. And given that we had Treants, had I known we had Treants, we could pull bigger than this. But I just didn't know. I'm like, if we had Treants, I could have pulled probably the other pack around as well. But thus is life. I don't know. This is the safe way for me to manage necrotic. With what I know I have as tools. So I'm going to bring in this pack. I don't really want the patrol, so I do this scoot. We're actually pretty safe here if no one body pulls it. Like this positioning won't pull it because we have another inspiring to beat down. And my necrotic stacks are getting up. I don't have a Kyrian Vial. I don't have Bop. And I do not have Divine Shield. Treants just went down. I don't really have a safe place to run away either. So we're just going to do it the old-fashioned way. That's high stacks, but we have pretty high Druid. This was the right call for necrotic, right? That was it. So now the stacks are gone. Even the bird stacks are probably going to drop. But no, we'll be fine. So this, given that we pulled that extra Spriggan pack that I don't normally pull, this is count. And I'm pretty sure of it. Most of these things are 1 or above %-ish. And so what I don't want to have happen is I don't want to pull the invisible pack right there. So treants are out. Cool. We're going to drop stacks, so that's good. Yeah, I didn't really have a way of dropping stacks. I guess I was just going to run. Just going to run away. So that's my... that's where the group saves me. If the group couldn't do that, we would have been... I would have been a dead boy. However, they would have battle res me. Here's Pride. Oh boy. Right where that Fire Mage is sitting is an invisible pack. And then I think the Druid goes up there. No, the Druid's behind me with the... It's the Fire Mage is sitting right next to the invisible pack. Oh man, they are... That Fire Mage is right next to an invisible pack. Now, I would assume they know that because they're high IO. But I don't want that body pack. I don't want that to body pull. That's a just not safe place to stand. You do have to go a little bit deeper, but I'm sweating it because we need full uptime of Lust to kill this boss confidently, in my opinion. I would like it. So this is going to time up almost perfectly with Lust being back, right? There's our Pride. We're going to get right into it. And we'll have Lust back in 3, 2, 1. We're going to Lust up the beginning. So we're going to have a good overlap between Lust. Okay, are we not lusting? Oh my, did they not Lust? Super rips. Okay, I think we Lust in the middle. Okay, Lust was up. We would have killed this boss even faster. I didn't notice that. They didn't time warp because it wasn't ready at the pull. I also didn't say to Lust, but yeah, we didn't. Wow, we didn't Lust. That's a thing. Well, did we Lust in the middle? What did we Lust on Hakkar? Jeez, what is this? Oh, maybe they're saving. I think they might be saving time warp for Hakkar for the portal phase. I see. Never mind. That was a play. I remember them talking about this. The play was to save Lust for Hakkar portals, which I get. Okay, so we have Pride on this, so they're basically doing a split. They're basically saying Pride for this and Lust for Hakkar portals, which I get. Okay, that was the call. I see. That was happening without me knowing. So on this fight as a tank, if there's melee, you basically want to pull the melee, pull the boss off of the portals so that it's very clear whose portal is who, and so you don't accidentally set them off. I think the Demon Hunter accidentally set one off, but that's fine. As long as there's one for him to go on, right? It's more the next phase when the bomb goes out that you really need to. That was a bit of a heal there. It's more this phase that you need to be able to get to your own portal. So just pull her off of the portals so that you can very clearly, like, I'm standing next to the one that's mine, so I can go up now, right? That's it. And the only little min-maxy thing that I do here is that when she's dying, I just hot-foot it to the portal. Clickety-do, and we don't have to sit there. I'm saving like about 5 seconds of time, to be honest. We use this time to assign portal destinations. Healer and I always go front left. That's just, there was a group that someone else wanted to go front left, and I told them, I was like, hey, listen, I'm small brain. I always go front left, so my muscle memory is going to tell me to go front left, and I think that I should stick with that. Like, for me, I'm less malleable. I don't think I can adjust. I'm just used to going front left. So me and the healer always front left. The other melee always front right. And if there's another melee, then rip to them. Then you're going to go back. And if they are ranged, I just randomly pick one, and I'm like, you go back right, and the other goes back left. And usually once they, they'll just kind of pick one, and the other one by default gets it, right? So that's about it. At a high key, I usually assign ahead of time, but I wanted to see if we get through Hakkar first, because Hakkar is kind of the check, in my opinion. Hakkar is the DPS check, and then Millhouse is the mechanics check. Okay, so Soulcrusher. Boom, that was Soulcrusher. Really fast. Both hands go down. You need to have mitigation up before then. And so it's real quick, but you can kind of anticipate it. I do it wrong every time. Every single time, right? So what we should do is Soulcrusher's coming up. Boom, got it. Wasn't in Shield the Righteous. Wasn't in Consecration. Popped the cooldown too slow. Now I know, though. I never understood it. Right? Boom. That one was okay. That one's okay. I was in Consecration, in Shield the Righteous. After the Master of Death, you immediately put up the defensives. Is kind of what's going on, right? At least the passive or active mitigations, maybe not the cooldowns, but here, need to be in Consecration. Oh, that's still Master of Death. Oh, I barely make it out. But anyway, here, instantly has to be back up. Didn't do it right. So I do it wrong multiple times. And the mistake there, first of all, I'm dying to the dot, so I have to heal myself. The mistake there is that I popped Avenging Wrath to survive. I deemed it so that I needed Avenging Wrath for my Word of Glory to be stronger, which maybe was the case, but had I done the mitigation correctly, it wouldn't have been the case. So me not understanding Soulcrusher, it happens very fast after Master of Death. It happens immediately. It's both hands down, boom. I used to think it was when he did the swipe after. That's not the case. And because I am doing not Avenging Wrath damage, and the healer's doing absolutely no damage, I don't know what that R-Druid's doing. That is just pitiful healer damage. Like, I mean, you could definitely do more. We don't get it. We don't get the totem. And so we tell the group, we didn't get ours, big rips. Another phase of me not understanding Soulcrusher, unfortunately. And I look at the totem and I tell him it's the back left platform though. However, that's my job as tank. Cosmic Artifice goes out. Soulcrusher probably next. Boom. It was right there. I was in the mitigation, so that was fine. Here comes Master of Death. So I did that one right. And I have no actual cooldowns left for it anyway. All I can do is just make sure I have Shield of the Righteous and Consecration up when it happens. So it's going to happen right now. I should be consecrating and shield. Right? Boom. I think I might have been in it, right? Little last minute. I should be, as soon as the other casts are done, it's going to happen again. Is there another one? Put down Consecration. I got nothing. If you Divine Shield, everyone dies. So it's a little harrowing, health getting a little low, but this is why we talent for the big Word of Glories for myself. That's my, okay, I need to be, again, getting ready for it. I should have Consecration down. I have a shield ready to go. Still Master of Death. Okay, so as soon as Master of Death goes, I should Shield the Righteous here. Okay, it's Cosmic Artifice, not a big deal. Okay, but that's the way I got to think about it now, is like we need to be anticipating the Soul Crush, because it happens real quick, right? By the time you notice it's going to happen, you might have already missed it, right? Unless you're real quick with the fingers. That's the job on the higher keys. You die to it. You're going to die to Soul Crusher. It's tough. Anything below 12 Tyrannical, by the way, anything below 12 Tyrannical, I have never died to Soul Crusher, but on 12 Tyrannical, you feel it. You're feeling it. So if you're not in your active mitigation, at the minimum, if not like a real Hakkar shield, like I have this trinket. That's why I'm here. This is an IO push, but like that trinket would also help as an absorb. I should consecrate. What are we doing? Okay, sit in Consecration and hold the Holy Power for the shield, right? If it's Soul Crush, that's Cosmic Artifice. No big deal. Boom, Soul Crush. I was in full mitigation, so that one was safe. Master of Death. I'm just going to start pooling Holy Power, and I should just honestly pool the Holy Power and then try to get Consecration down, right? So right here, I'm safe. I should Consecrate. Consecrate. Do it now. Consecrate now. Boom. Didn't have Shield or Consecrate. So bad. So much damage on my part, but we're going to get it, and we're going to Word of Glory ourselves back to full, but that's the move. You got to be in Consecration and Shield for that Soul Crusher, or it's lights out. Possibly, and definitely at higher keys, I think you would be dead, possibly, or like, you know, very close to it. And again, I didn't have Avenging Wrath for the totem phase, so this goes one phase longer. We would have tried, not too chested it, but it would have been much easier. Also, the healer did no damage, but I guess that's kind of my play. I apologize to the group for burning Avenging Wrath and making us do an extra phase. Everyone's like, that's fine, you know, we timed it. But that closeness of the run is 100 my fault. Someone gets their trinket. That's what this place is for. I do not get my trinket. Sad. But I do get the IO. So I'm now over 900 IO. I get a cape that's much worse than the cape I have already. That's fine, I guess. I'll take the IO. I'm over 900. That's going to allow me to get into even more groups. 900 is a barrier for a lot of people. They won't trust a tank that hasn't done a confident amount of 11s and 12s is essentially what that means. So I have it, and I'll be working on, essentially, if I push 10 more keys, I'll be at 1,000. And that'll allow me to hopefully start to get into 14s, which is what I want to get into next. 14s is the cap for the weekly vaults to get the max item level. And I'd like to be able to do at least 114 and start to do 15. So thanks for watching. Soulcrusher, it's a thing. I will see you on the next video.